This camera is a manual film camera, and if I turn the camera to the front, you can see this is a Vivitar. The lens is on the front, and this outer ring is the focusing ring to focus the image. If I flip the camera up, you can see the hot shoe, the mode dial, which has the shutter speed around the outside of the mode dial. Make sure that it is set to the red number or the default number. The ISO or film speed will depend on the film that I give you, but for starters, we're going to use 400 speed film, and I have that set. If you need to change it, just squeeze the ring and then twist until you find the number that correlates to your film. This is the shutter release button. This is the film advance lever, and this knob allows you to open the camera. So let's open the camera first. So I'm gonna flip out this little lever and then pull up on the knob, and you should see the door swing open. This is where your film goes. This is the shutter door, so make sure you don't touch that. And there is a little spool that you'll load your film into. Okay, so first you're going to open your box of film. This is what the film looks like. And when you open your box, you'll take out a little film can. And you'll open that can, and inside that can is the actual film. So here's the film roll. You can see it's mostly inside this little canister. It has a little tail that comes out of it. And so what you'll need to do is make sure that the shiny side is up and the emulsion side or the dull side of the film is going to be facing the shutter door. So you'll put the film on the left side like this. Once you have your film in there, press the knob down, flip that lever in, and you're going to pull the film out and you're going to lay it across here. Remember, don't touch this door, and wedge the film into one of these little slots. And you'll also press the film down so that the little sprockets engage in the holes of the film. And sometimes this can be a little tricky, but you'll want to make sure that you really wedge your film in there. Okay, so now the film is inside that little spool, and now what I need to do is advance the film to make sure that the film is caught within the spool and it's not going to come loose while I'm taking pictures, because then I won't be taking any pictures. So crank the lever, the film advance lever, and snap the shutter release button, and then crank it again. And what you're looking for is just to see that this film is really tightly in that spool, which it is. You can see that it's starting to wind around. So every section is an image or an exposure on your film, and the advance lever will move the film over after you take a picture so that you can take another picture, and the film will keep rolling up on this side until you get to the last exposure. And our film is, if you take a look at the box again right here, 24 exposures. So that means you can take 24 pictures. Okay, next close the back of the camera and make sure it's latched tight, that you hear that. And what you'll want to do next is look at the counter, and the counter is right here, and it starts at S and it goes up to however many pictures that you get to take with your film. Sometimes it will give you an extra exposure, so even though your film is 24 exposures, the film might give you 25, and that's okay. Okay, so we're at the S, and because I just closed the back of the camera, all those negatives that we're showing are going to be totally exposed, overexposed. They'll be black when we develop them. So what I need to do is crank over the film so that I'm starting on an exposure piece of film that hasn't been exposed. So to do that, I'm going to snap, and then I'm going to crank, and if you look at the counter, it should move over to a dot to the right of the S. I'm going to snap, and crank again, and I'm gonna do that until I get to the dot right before the 1, which I know it's hard to see there, but that's where I'm at now. So the next time I hit the shutter release button, I am actually taking a picture. So make sure that, excuse me, before you take your picture that you focus and you have the image that you want in the viewfinder. Okay, so now I'm ready to take my pictures. And again, 24 exposures, sometimes 25.